The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola, everyone. Welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll share some events for you to enjoy in today's edition of Open Weekend Preview. After that, we'll hear about the LGBT Community Center, a home and resource hub for the LGBT community, along with their different programs, including the White Shirt Project. And then we'll speak to SIP's organic skincare founder, Sol Maria Velez, about her handcrafted natural skincare line made with love. And later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headline in the world of sports. And lastly, New York-based Puerto Rican singer, filmmaker, and activist Taína Asili joins the show as this week's Open Artist Spotlight. She'll discuss how her activism drives her music, followed by a performance on our Open Artist stage. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche. You know, always inviting you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow moi on Twitter, Instagram, FB, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. It's Friday and we have some events for you to enjoy this Super Bowl weekend. So get your pen and papers out. It's now time for some Open Weekend Previews. It may be cold outside, but now you can certainly step into the warmth for a chill brew at the Bronx Brewery. The New York Adventure Club will host a private tour and tasting event that will also present guests with the history of the Bronx Brewery. Afterwards, everyone will be able to mingle with fellow beer-loving adventurers. The event will take place Saturday, February 1st at 2 p.m. at the Bronx Brewery, which is located at 856 East 136th Street. And for tickets, visit eventbrite.com and type in Winter Tour and beer tasting at the Bronx Brewery. It's Super Bowl weekend, and if you need a place to watch the game, well, the Mott Haven Bar and Grill will be showing the Super Bowl featuring the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as the performances with Bronx's very own J-Lo and Shakira. The game is expected to start at 6:30 p.m. and music will be played by DJ Wawa. The Mott Haven Bar and Grill is located at 1 Bruckner Boulevard, and for more information, visit motthavenbar.com. The Belmont Business Improvement District is launching the inaugural Little Italy in the Bronx Restaurant Week starting Monday, February 3rd to Thursday, February 13th, and people will be able to enjoy a 3-course prix-fixe lunch for $20 and a 3-course prix-fixe dinner for $30. And for more information, please visit bronxitaly.com. This month, I had the opportunity to MC the stage and march with thousands of people for the 4th annual Women's March as everyone rised and roar for change. Let's take a look.
Today we rise!
At the top of the new year, it's become a tradition for thousands to gather throughout the country for the 4th annual Women's March. In New York City, women, men, and families came together to rise and roar for change. Protesters were lined up from 61st Street and Columbus Circle to 72nd Street alongside Central Park West, waiting patiently in the bitter cold, while speakers such as Women's March Alliance board member and co-chair of the 2020 Rise and Roar March, Sunma Artsu Brown, rallied the crowd, reminding everyone how on this day, women write the narrative.
We are tired of the injustice, that we are tired of sexual harassment, that we are tired of guns in our streets.
Making history was the youngest roarer, 15-year-old author and founder of #1000 Black Girl Books, Marley Diaz, who roared against injustice.
Girls like myself are forces for change, not just because we are special, but rather because of our families. The first institution in our lives invested and continues to invest in us. Ultimately, all the major social issues in the world that matter to us, whether it's racial inequality or global warming, all these things are personal.
Standing up against age and gender discrimination in broadcasts with the lawsuit against Charter Communication were New York One anchors and reporters Kristen Shaughnessy, Amanda Farinacci, Janine Ramirez, Marisol Seda, and two-time Emmy winner Roma Torre.
We are newswomen, and here is the news of the day. We are fighting for our careers in much the same way many of you may and will have to fight for your careers when you reach a certain age.
Notables such as Honorable Manhattan Borough President Gail Brewer, Lieutenant Governor Catherine Hochul, Assemblymember Mathilde Frontis, and Senator Chuck Schumer were some of the distinguished elected officials to participate in this year's march. New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer stood in solidarity with his Chief Diversity Officer, Wendy Garcia, who roared for women's equality.
It will no longer be that the princess needed saving from the prince to get into her kingdom, but that the two have worked together to create a kingdom where every little boy and every single little girl has access to the kingdom's throne.
I marched with notable Bronx poet Mariposa.
This intergenerational march, we have the young people, we have people that have been in this movement and in many social movements for decades, and we have the next generation.
And my daughter, Charmvitha, who at 10 years old understands the importance of girl power.
Women also need justice as much as men.
But she wasn't the only kid out there. We came across Bronx Middle School, MS 363, teaching the next generation the importance of exercising their voices to be a stand for social justice. In the words of our next generation,
Women united will never be divided.
Reporting for BronxNet, Rhina Valentin.
Woo! All right, that was this year's Women's March 2020. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about a center that is all about helping the LGBT community. Don't go anywhere.
Praise the Lord. I'm Evangelist Barbara Mayo. I have a program called A Great God. I come on every Saturday at 3:30, channel 70 and 36 on Fios. You need to catch me because it's a program to encourage, to lift up, and if you don't know anybody that haven't heard about the program, tell them about it. They'll be encouraged, for God is good. God bless you.
Here we are, Jerome Avenue, the heart of the Bronx. This is where I grew up. Business is booming, people are moving, everyone works hard. Nothing was handed to anyone here. I've been in here to take my passport pictures. I bought flowers here for my mother. Oh, this is where I get my smoothies, by the way. Continuation. This is what we call the O, 170th Street. It feels so Bronx. Hey, my man Fonzie. We've walked up and down the corridor, nothing but love. And I'm glad to say that Jerome is home.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. The Center is an organization empowering the LGBT community to live healthy and successful lives through its programs, creating a safe space for the community while celebrating diversity. And joining us to tell us about their program services and events, please welcome the LGBT Community Center's Manager of Community Partnerships, Richard Morales. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
And welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be back here.
Yes, we're happy to have you back, and this time for the center.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've moved on to, I guess, a field that you're very passionate about.
Yes.
I mean, you've always been passionate about the diversity aspect of it, but then now there's this other layer that is being brought into the forefront because, well, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to be their own individuals, and it's important that they have a safe haven to go to be able to relate to that same dialogue.
Yeah, and that's been part of the mission of the center since its founding in 1983. You know, for people that might not know, we're located on 13th Street between 7th and Greenwich Avenue, and we're basically open 365 days a year, you know, with that mindset of there's no time off, especially with issues that are going on in the LGBTQ community. And so it's pretty much been an open door policy where everyone is welcome. And so if you just want to go in there for resources, for coffee, to use the restroom, or to check out our infamous Keith Haring bathroom, you know, it's pretty much open 365 days a year for anyone that's interested and is passionate about learning a little bit more about the LGBTQ community.
So, and you're saying that it's open to anybody. You don't necessarily have to be of the community, of the LGBTQ community.
It's open to everybody.
Everybody. So that there's, again, going back to the relatability and understanding that we all have certain needs as human beings. And it's really important to have a place that is able to offer these resources and have that conversation. I understand you guys have programming that loans itself to, I think you have a speaking engagement that happens like once a month on Tuesdays or something.
Yeah, we have a number of programs. I work specifically with arts and culture programming, so that anything related to the art exhibits, the second Tuesday lecture series, which is one of the center's longest running cultural programs, but we also have book presentations, performances,
I know you have a
film
partnership
screenings.
with Carnegie Hall as well.
Yes, so in April we'll be having a concert with Toshi Regan and Big Lovely, which is a really great concert that I'm looking forward to. But aside from arts and culture programming, we also offer an array of other programs that range from advocacy programming, mental health and wellness programming, community support, especially for TGNC communities, transgender and nonconforming communities, immigrant support, legal clinics, HIV testing, STI testing, family programming. So it's really like a lot of programming that we do in that one building on 208 West 13th.
So while you said it's 365 days of accessible, what are the hours throughout the day?
So we're open from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Those are long hours.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Sundays.
Wow, those are long hours, even on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely committed. Now, with regards to the White Shirt Project, right, because you curated this, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And
with Jose
with
Ramon.
Jose Ramon, right, who we've had on the show a couple of times, who I'm personally very, very excited and so grateful to you, right? Because I believe I connected the dots, right? I put you in the same space as Jose, but you guys went and you took off. And from what I understand, this is the first time ever that the exhibition is going to feature every single photo that's been captured, or at least most of them. I don't know how many he's captured, but I know 48 is way more than what he's exhibited in the past. So it's super exciting.
Yeah, and it's also really exciting too because yes, you did make the connection. We did meet together when you and I, you introduced me to Jose. And this has been about a little over a year in planning. You know, when I started working at the center in November of last year, I reached out to all my contacts to let them know that I'm working there and to let them know that if they want to utilize any of the services at the center, or if they want to bring any programming to the center, that we should have that conversation. And Jose right off the bat got in contact with me and we started having this conversation about the project, and I then went to his apartment to go see the photographs, and then I've seen the project go to like the Bronx LGBT Expo, and I think this is one of the first times it's being presented downtown Manhattan. So it's great to see that a lot of these images, which you are also a part of,
Yes.
A lot of these people that are Upper Manhattan based or Bronx based are getting a chance to live and breathe and exist in a downtown setting such as the center. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yes, and so am I. So am I. It's really, really something to
Yeah.
see this project just grow legs and walk, you know. And I'm saying it because I've watched it develop from being an online series to a physical series, and it being exhibited at the Mott Haven Bar and Grill. From there, it was also exhibited as part of the Bronx Borough President's Bronx Week, and then from there, the LGBT. They had an event over the summer of last year, and now you're picking it up. And every single time, it's always been. Oh, and also it was part of the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce's Puerto Rican Day Parade VIP party at Pelham Bay Split Rock. So it's taken, but it's never featured so many images. And the reason I'm sharing the steps it's taken is because I'm personally invested in the project because of the message that really is within it. I mean, while it's all walks of life, and like you said, people from all over town, the fact that it's really talking about mental health in general, in spite of your color, in spite of your gender, in spite of your living circumstances, in spite of your financial circumstances, it just taps into all of that.
Yeah, and it really aligns with the mission of the center in providing those services to people that walk through our doors on a day-to-day basis, you know, to be able to see these stories, to see themselves reflected in the images. So the project does address post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and any other mental health and wellness issues that come up. So through each of the portraits, we see they're black and white portraits. So through each of those portraits, we get a glimpse into how each of these individuals have dealt with these issues of mental health in their lives and things that they've done to overcome those issues, but also the support networks that they've relied on in order to overcome some of those obstacles that might have held them back. And so by wearing a white shirt, it allows them to feel a little bit more empowered to basically take this blank canvas of what a white shirt can be or symbolize to others and create something new out of it based on some of these histories that sometimes aren't the most positive experiences. You know, I think as LGBTQ people and also as people of color, we kind of carry these things with us, you know, we carry these histories of trauma at times. And, you know, it takes a lot to work through some of those issues. And I think with Jose Ramon's project, he basically utilized art as a way to deal with his own issues, but also to identify other individuals in the community that might have been going through similar experiences. And that basically putting out the message that you're not alone in this.
Exactly.
And I think that's really important.
It is important, and even if not clinically diagnosed, because at the end of the day, you know, we're all working through stuff. So thank you for for exhibiting it. I'm so happy that you're bringing it here to our audience. And you guys, if you've been following the White Shirt Project, the opening reception is going to be taking place on Thursday, February 6th at 6 p.m. And once again, that's at the LGBT Community Center, which is located at 208 West 13th Street in Manhattan. And it's going to be on display through April 2020. And for more information, you can visit gaycenter.org/whiteshirtproject. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll be trying an organic skincare line you don't want to miss. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, always inviting you to get social with us. That's right, at BronxNet TV. And while you're there, tweet me at Rhina Valentin. So our next guest, she's just getting everything set up as we're getting on air. She is the founder of health and wellness beauty brand, SIPS, also known as Soul Infusions, Potions, and Punches. It's a handcrafted organic skincare line that provides everything from butters, balms, essential oils, botanical waters, and serums. And joining us to tell us more about her products, we welcome SIPS founder and owner, Sol Maria Velez. Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And well, we got on air right in the midst of you trying to figure out what we were going to try, right? But we can do that while we're talking, right? So
Yes,
let's just share a little bit about what inspired you to get into this creation.
So I started this journey actually because I had my own issues. I grew up with I had a lot of health issues, issues with my skin, and I was just tired of going to the dermatologist and different doctors and getting steroid creams and pills and not really treating the symptoms, but not really treating the source of the problem.
The source of the problem,
yes,
right? It's
yes.
kind of like putting a
And
bubble on it. It
yes,
was like you put a
yes,
pacifier on it.
they diagnose you with something, and then they just set you free. They don't tell you.
Oh, they prescribe
know,
you something that's medicinal that you're required to use for the rest
of your life. Exactly.
Right. Got
exactly.
it.
And I just didn't. After a while, and experiencing different side effects and just other issues, I'm naturally a researcher, and so I just started looking for information myself and looking for other alternatives. I started with other alternative medicines, speaking with a naturopath, acupuncture, massage, different things like that. Changing my diet was a huge difference for me.
Right. And so how long have you been in this?
As a hobby, probably 20 years, and as a business, 3 years. And I was in business before this. I actually worked I studied entrepreneurship at Baruch, and I worked for a hedge fund as director of operations and controller for 15 years prior to launching this.
Right, so it was an easy transition for you to brand it and move it.
The business side of it,
right?
Yes,
the business side of it, right?
Yes,
because I was reading about your products and I found it interesting how you are transparent about everything, about the colorizing, right? The non-colorization, right? The non-colorization and how it affects the way the cream or the oils will either harden or they need to be. So often, I'm not really familiar. This is not my field, but I found it fascinating to read how you explained to each individual the reality of, well, if it doesn't have preservatives in it, this is what's going to end up happening to it, and this is what you need to do in order to soften it up, right? If it's balm.
So the whole idea is completely moving away from any sort of chemicals, any sort of preservatives. So it's literally just butters, oils. I make the botanical infusions myself. We blend in essential oils. So every single ingredient that goes into the product has a benefit for you. It's not just a filler. It's not something to colorize it. It's not something to deodorize it, other than the aromatherapy component, which has a health benefit for you. So literally every single ingredient has a benefit for you.
So they have healing agents in it. So
Absolutely.
Can we go through some of them as we're talking?
Yes.
So what do we have here?
So this is actually my bestseller. It's a facial serum, which is very popular with both women and men. It's an infusion of rose and chamomile.
Can I try it?
Yes, absolutely.
So you put this on the face. I'm not going to be able to put it on my face. I just want to
but you can use this. What's great about these products is you can use them head to toe. That's another component. I tried to make everything multi-use because I have clients that just want one product instead of 20 different products.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, so that's lavender and geranium that you're smelling, and so a part of that component is the relaxation. But when I think about formulas, I think about some of the core products all started with probably the most common complaints. Wrinkles, scarring.
Oh, let's talk about that one.
acne.
Which one of those is for wrinkles?
That's
Which one?
the facial
This
serum.
one.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
nice,
yes,
nice. Okay,
absolutely.
we already talked about and these little ones here.
Yeah, the lip balm.
These are lip
so,
balms.
Yeah, so those are the base of those are shea butter, mango butter, and beeswax.
And this?
So that's a hair formula, which I actually just won an award in Hola magazine last year for our hair formula.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
so that was very
congratulations on
exciting.
that. Hair, butter.
Yes, yes.
So, and is this?
So we have that both as a liquid and as a solid.
And so
as
that's
well.
used for?
So that helps with promoting hair growth, thickness, prevents breakage, helps with dry, itchy scalp and dandruff.
Oh yeah, so curly hair. Definitely,
hair,
that's good
yes.
for curly hair.
It
And
works
then-
for all hair
for
types.
all hair types,
yes.
but you know, I speak on behalf of the curly
Yeah,
hair.
well, my sister has
representative.
curly hair like yours. So she actually blends the butter with the serum.
With the serum. Yeah. And then this?
So that's a nice body butter, which is great for winter time.
I just want to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it open or?
We can open it. That's
And then
easy to
this?
do. So that is something new that I'm working on. So the idea of that is to have something that you can use both to wash your face as a shampoo and as a body wash. And that originally came about when someone approached me to make some donations for a homeless women's shelter. And so the idea is to just have one product that you could use head to toe.
Oh, that's clever.
Yes.
It's like a consolidated everything.
Yes, yes. But
with moisturizers in it.
There's moisturizers in it, yes, because it doesn't have soap.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's good. So I was sampling the body butter, and it has like a lemony.
Yes,
yeah.
so that's our most popular blend. It's an infusion of ginger with orange, and it's got a bunch of citrus essential oils. Yeah, so like grapefruit, mandarin, there's some geranium in there as well.
Beautiful.
I
Thank
really love
you.
geranium.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love that you took the time to invest in just learning about all these natural ingredients. And,
Yes. Well, it was necessary because, you know, I wasn't getting what I needed from the doctors, and I wasn't feeling better. I wasn't looking better, and you know, once I launched this and started, I use these products every single day, head to toe. The facial serum I use twice a day.
Beautiful. And you look beautiful.
And thank you.
And so this has healed you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and you know what's in it.
I do.
Because you made it.
I do.
All
I
right.
do. It doesn't have goofy things like hormone disruptors and things that I'm allergic to. And that's the other thing is I work with clients to customize solutions when there's things like allergies and because even in the natural world, there are things that you're going to be allergic to. So we work around that type of stuff.
That's awesome. So then you personalize it as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for bringing it here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having
sharing
me.
your
I
knowledge with
appreciate
us. And you guys, once again, to purchase some Sips Organic skincare products, please be sure to visit sipsorganics.com. Stay tuned because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
The NBA continues to honor the legacy of Kobe Bryant. The league is turning every quarter of the upcoming All-Star game in Chicago into an abbreviated contest for charity, and the scores will be reset to 0 at the start of the second and third quarters, according to reports. The scores will then be restored to begin an untimed fourth quarter, which is when the tribute to Bryant begins. The team that wins the All-Star game will be the first to reach a target score determined by the cumulative points the team in the lead scored in the first three quarters combined, plus 24, which was Bryant's jersey number for the last decade of his NBA career. You guys at home following this? For example, if one team is leading by a score of 100 to 90, the target score will then be 124. We paid tribute to Kobe on Monday's show. Bryant died Sunday along with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others in a helicopter crash in the Los Angeles area. He was the 4th leading scorer in NBA history, an 18-time All-Star selection, and won a record-tying 4 All-Star Game MVPs. The NBA said there will be multiple tributes to Bryant at the All-Star Game. Around the rest of the league, the tributes continue as well. On a team-by-team basis, the Dallas Mavericks are retiring number 24, while players have changed numbers too, and that includes Brooklyn Nets guard Spencer Dinwiddie and Orlando Magic swingman Terrence Ross. The two changed numbers on Tuesday to honor the late Bryant. Both players are changing their numbers from number 8, one of the numbers Bryant wore with the Lakers. Dinwiddie switched to number 26, while Ross chose number 31. 3 days after the tragic event, Bryant's widow, Vanessa, broke her silence with an Instagram message saying she was, quote-unquote, completely devastated by their loss. Loss seems to be the word of the week in sports this week. From motorsport, IndyCar and NASCAR driver John Andretti has died at age 56 after a long battle with cancer. Andretti, part of the well-known Andretti racing family, had wins in several series. He was the son of Aldo Andretti and nephew of Aldo's twin brother and Indianapolis 500 winner Mario Andretti. He was also a cousin of IndyCar driver Marco Andretti. Hall of Fame defensive end Chris Dolman, who ranks 5th on the NFL's all-time sack list, died of cancer this week as well. That news broke Tuesday night. Dolman was only 58. The Pro Football Hall of Fame announced in the news of Dolman's passing in a statement. Dolman had been battling a form of brain cancer for the past 2 years. He played 15 seasons primarily with the Minnesota Vikings, who selected him with the 4th overall pick in the 1985 NFL Draft. The former Pittsburgh Panthers star ended nearly 2/3 of his 150.5 career sacks over his 10 years with the Vikings. His 96.5 sacks with the team ranked 2nd in franchise history, behind the 114 of fellow Hall of Famer John Randall, who was Dolman's teammate for 5 years. On to some better news in football. Super Bowl 54 is this weekend in Miami. The big game has finally arrived. KC San Fran, who you got? My 2 cents in the C list. Tyreek Hill is one of the fastest players in the NFL, and the Super Bowl-bound Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver is considering testing his speed against the world's best at this year's Tokyo Olympics. The 25-year-old American, a sprinter in high school, is a key member of the Chiefs' potent offense, and after Sunday's showdown in Miami against the Niners, will look into securing a spot on the July 24th to August 9th Olympic team. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. Sophia Kenin sent world number 1 Ash Barty spinning out of the Melbourne Park semifinals on Thursday to reach her maiden Grand Slam final, crushing Australian hopes of a first homegrown champion in 42 years. Meanwhile, on the men's side, Novak Djokovic once again beat great rival Roger Federer at a Grand Slam on Thursday to reach the Australian Open final and remain on course for a record-extending 8th title at Melbourne Park. The finals of the Australian Open are this weekend. On the NBA hardwood, the New York Knicks are fed up with the way Memphis's Jay Crowder goes about playing the game of basketball. Down 18 points with 48 seconds left in regulation on Wednesday night at the Garden, Elfrid Payton ran up to Crowder and shoved him into the front row of the courtside seats after the veteran forward shot and missed a wide-open three-point attempt with the Grizzlies up big. To add insult to injury after the game, New York's Marcus Morris Sr. made some critical comments aimed at Crowder, citing quote-unquote female tendencies for his play. Morris has since apologized for his initial comments. A series of suspensions and fines have followed from the NBA. The confrontation cast a shadow over a strong performance by Dillon Brooks, who scored 27 points, and Ja Morant, the rookie, who had 18 points and 10 assists as the Grizzlies cruised to their 4th straight victory, beating the Knicks 127-104. 106. Knicks are back in action Saturday night in Indiana. As for the Nets, Wednesday was a good night. The Nets left 2 seats open with flowers on them at the Barclays Center in honor of Bryant and Gianna. The pair sat in those seats near Brooklyn's bench for a December 21st game against Atlanta. Gianna was a big fan of the Hawks' Trae Young, moving tribute in Brooklyn. It's only been a few days, not nearly enough for the players who were close with Kobe to get over his passing. Unlike Sunday, Kyrie Irving was at least able to take his grief onto the basketball court Wednesday night. He scored 20 points in his return to the lineup. Spencer Dinwiddie scored 28 in his first game with his new jersey number, and the Nets toppled the Detroit Pistons 125-115. The Nets host Chicago tonight. Amazing tributes by the Celtics and the LA Clippers Thursday night as well. NBA star Paul George narrated the Clippers video tribute to Bryant. Kobe has literally stopped the world this past week. And speaking of that All-Star game, the starters and reserves have been announced. Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul headline the reserves, while Devin Booker and Bradley Beal headline the list of those snubbed for the game. On the ice, the Rangers host Detroit at the Garden. Puck drop is 7 p.m. The Islanders will host Vancouver Saturday at 1. The Devils fell 6-5 to Nashville in the shootout last night. They are home for Dallas Saturday at 7 in Newark. In baseball, former Yankee and Met Curtis Granderson is hanging up his cleats and retiring his high socks after 16 seasons in the bigs. One of the game's truly great guys. Enjoy retirement, Curtis. Boston may be dealing superstar Mookie Betts after all. Rumors he could be on the move to the LA Dodgers. Starter David Price could be included in that deal or also be moved by the Red Sox, who have a tremendous payroll. Colorado Rockies star Nolan Arenado is expected to be moved. St. Louis was among the top teams, but Las Vegas has the Yankees with the best odds to get him. Interesting, he's some third baseman I always felt that he would land in pinstripes. We'll see if the Yanks have anything up their sleeves. Last weekend, the AFC won the Pro Bowl football's All-Star game 38-33, besting the NFC in the game of All-Pros. Lamar Jackson starred in the win for the AFC, garnering offensive MVP honors. And on a final sports roundup note, Indy 500 winner Tony Kanaan has announced that this will be his last year as a primary driver in the IndyCar Series. The announcement was made at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Thursday. This will be his 23rd season of competition. The 45-year-old is set to compete in 5 oval races of the NTT IndyCar Series season, including the 500 on May 24th. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for my Super Bowl pick. The San Francisco 49ers are 15-3. The Kansas City Chiefs are 14-4. Vegas has this game at about a point and a half. They really are evenly matched on paper. One defensive power against one offensive power. Seen this flick before. Everyone is going high scoring for this game, but you know what? I'm going to go low scoring. The 49ers have ridden the running game to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing just 27 passes in 2 games, but head coach Kyle Shanahan scoffs at the idea that he's trying to hide his quarterback. With a ferocious running game, the top-rated defense in the NFL, and one of the league's highest-performing tight ends, it would seem little surprise that San Fran has reached this year's Super Bowl against the Chiefs. In evaluating these two teams, though, there's one significant weakness that stands out to me: the Chiefs' run defense. Against most teams, the Chiefs are simply too devastating on offense for their 29th-ranked run defense to even matter. 49ers have feasted on those terrible run defenses this season, scoring 51 points on the 32nd-ranked Carolina Panthers, 31 points on the 30th-ranked Cleveland Browns, and 41 points on the 28th-ranked Cincinnati Bengals. The Chiefs have been able to overcome sloppy play on defense and special teams by scoring an astronomical, unsustainable rate on offense. Even by Pat Mahomes' incredible standards, he's arguably the best player in the upcoming game on Sunday. The 49ers won't shut down Mahomes, and I would be worried about a fourth-quarter comeback if the 49ers are winning once the pass rush begins to tire and Andy Reid finds a weakness. But this is the best defense Mahomes has faced during the postseason by a considerable margin. The 49ers should be better along the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball in this game, and that has won football games, folks, for about a century now. Rooting for Mahomes, whose pops played in the majors with the Mets, and Reid too, but my heart tells me it will be the Niners. Love defense and the run game, folks. That's why I want, the New York Football Giants, Big Blue, to do here in New York with Saquon. But final score, San Fran 24, KC 21, 6:30 p.m. kickoff Sunday from Miami. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
After Hurricane Maria, the effort to rebuild Puerto Rico continues. In the award-winning series Puerto Rican Voices, we feature innovative projects and tackle the issues pertinent to the island's long-term recovery. What will it take to rebuild the economy? What has been the diaspora's response? Join the conversation as the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College presents Rebuild Puerto Rico.
Hey, welcome back to Open, everyone. Our last guest features a New York-based Puerto Rican singer, filmmaker, and activist who uses her voice to carry out themes of hope and liberation. Her music pulls from Afro rhythms and shifts between rock, reggae, salsa, samba, and Afro beats, inspired by social movements for racial, gender, and climate justice. And also her films, they've been featured in the likes of Black Star Film Festival, the Global Peace Film Festival, along with the Real Sisters Film Festival, and that's just to name a few. And she has also had the opportunity to perform on many stages across the world, including Carnegie Hall and the Women's March in Washington, D.C. And she recently released her album, Resiliencia. Here now to share more about her motivation, please welcome Taína, Asili. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I mean, I could do a whole show just on you.
Well, we'll start with this and we'll see where we go. Maybe we'll have to do another one.
I mean, I just love everything. First, I want to ask, right? I know you identify as being an American musician, born of Puerto Rican parents.
Yeah.
So is that okay that we introduce you as a Puerto Rican singer?
I am always a Puerto Rican singer. And I think that's one of the things that I love about being Boricua, being Puerto Rican, is that we identify this way no matter how many generations we are, right? Puerto Rican, you know, even if we were born on the moon, right? We're still Puerto Rican. And so for me, you know, that was something that my parents instilled in me as New Yorkers. I live in upstate New York and, you know, I travel around the world. And when I'm traveling, I represent Puerto Rico, siempre.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure because, you know, when you're third generation, second generation, you know, I identify as being a New Yorker, so I'm there with you.
Yeah.
And so, I know we're going to have a taste of your music, and I'm so excited to bring it to you guys. Oh my gosh, you're in for a treat. And just a little background on Taína and me anyway. I fell in love with her last year. I had the honor of introducing her on stage for the South Bronx Culture Trails, Casita Maria's South Bronx Culture Trails. And the minute you stepped on stage and you started singing, I was like, wow, who is she? And guess what? Everybody needs to know who she is. And I want them to know a little bit about what motivates you, because we're going to get a taste of your music. But I read that you actually studied transformational language. And that is a very fascinating subject to study in college?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting. So I have a degree, a master's degree in transformative language arts. And I started that degree actually when my mother had recently passed and my father was very ill at the time. He passed during my studies. And so I always go back to them because for me, what I do today is very much influenced by my upbringing. So my father was a Latin jazz conductor at periods of time. He was a conguero. Both my parents did bomba y plena. I was very much, you know, involved in our cultural heritage growing up, you know, musically speaking. But they also taught me that, you know, those art forms are a form of resistance, like reclaiming our identity as Puerto Ricans, as people of African and indigenous descent, recognizing our history. That's an important part of our lineage. So for me, when they passed, part of that transformative language arts was digging deeper into the roots of the language, right? Puerto Ricans, we have this profound history of using language to transform, right? If we're looking at the aretos from the Taínos, right? If we're looking at the Rican poets, if we're looking at Décimas or Julia de Burgos, some of our most incredible poets, we've always had this long history of using language to transform. And that's part of not just our heritage as Puerto Ricans, but as human beings.
Absolutely.
We were born with the gift of creativity and also language, right? And this ability to manifest, to connect with spirit, to connect with ourselves and this world and with each other through this powerful art form that is language.
That is language.
And the human voice.
Said. Oh my gosh, the human voice. And it's lovely. And thank you for breaking it down the way you have, because we don't have much time to talk. Like I told you.
I got
I already told you. You and I, we could do a whole show.
Concise.
Right? Well, because we want to give everybody a taste. But before we go, I just want to share how that the consciousness seeps into your work, because the work that you do, it's already going down in history as music of protest.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a consciousness in it. So there's a nurturing factor in being mindful of what it is that you're transmitting into the universe.
Absolutely. So for me, it's about, for my music, it's about using language to speak truth to power, right? So I use, you know, we spoke about some of my activism, you know, in the introduction, but my goal is to use my language, my voice. You know, the music is also speaking a language, right? The rhythm of the drums, the congas, right? The guitar, they're all speaking a language. And with that language, my goal is to use it for love and liberation, to manifest that change. So it's that transformative power. And, you know, in my music, I weave that in so many different ways. Like I said, through the music itself, through the art form of the poetry and the lyrics. But that's the idea, is to connect deeper than just, you know, how we might have in a conversation a connection. There's a deeper connection that happens through the music and the sung voice.
Just like you and I, we're like deeply connected, right?
Yes.
In other words, what she's saying, mi gente, is she's using love as a form of resistance.
That's
there
right.
you go. All right, so check this out. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, Taína's going to perform it for us. So don't go anywhere. Don't.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
back to Open. It's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight. Here now to perform Sofrito, please welcome Taína Asili and her band.
En lo más profundo de mi memoria vive un sabor de otro día.
and Taína. She's going to be performing at Women's Workers Rising Self-Defense Action taking place in front of Governor Andrew Cuomo's office to demand one fair wage for tipped restaurant workers. The action will take place on Monday, February 3rd at noon at 633 3rd Avenue, located on 41st Street in Manhattan. And be sure to check her out online by going to tainaasili.com. And of course, follow her on Instagram at Taína Asili. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recapcast tonight and 24 hours a day at bronxnet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Puerto Rico, estamos contigo. And Taína's going to be closing us out with Plant the Seed.
This is my declaration to be fully alive, healing. This is my reclamation of my ancestral wisdom. The earth, it saved it for me, and I plant the seed.